Yeah, hello everyone. You are welcome to today's data analytic bootcamp training. And today we'll be looking at an interesting topic where we will develop, we will analyze a case study which we can use for our portfolio project. So we will focus fully on data analytic portfolio projects. Okay, so today that is SQL portfolio projects, full project that we are going to look at. So without wasting much time, let's begin. So today's project is an interesting one. It's a challenge, but we are going to take only one case study. So let's head straight to online. So this is what today's project, this is where we are picking it from. So it's a challenge created by Danny, and then we will be looking at the first case studies. So after today's case study, you will learn a lot, and then you can develop, or you can practice or try to answer the second case study as well. So case study 1 talks about dinner. Okay, so this is just a few introduction, and then let's just look straight to the problem statement. So the problem statement is that Danny wants to use the data to answer a few simple questions about his customers. But this is the introduction. It says that Danny seriously loves Japanese food. So in the beginning of 2021, he decided to embark upon a risky venture and opens up a cute little restaurant that sells his 3 favorite foods. Okay, we have the sashi, we have the curry, and then we have the ramen. So he said Danny's dinner is in need of your assistance to help the restaurant stay afloat. The restaurant has captured some very basic data from their few months of operations, but have no idea how to use their data to help them run the business. So that is the situation at hand. That is what they are struggling with. Though they've captured the data, they have the data, but they don't know how they can use the data to understand what is happening. So as a data analyst, they are hiring you for you to answer some of their questions. So this is the problem. Danny wants to use the data to answer a few simple questions about his customers, especially about their visiting patterns, how much money they have spent, and also which menu item are their favorites. Having these deeper connections with his customers would help him deliver a better and more personalized experience for his loyal customers. Okay, he planned on using these insights to help him decide whether he should expand the existing customer loyalty program. Additionally, he need help to generate some basic data sets to his team, so his team can easily inspect the data without needing to use SQL. So this is kind of the problem statements, and then based on their data collection, they have 3 tables. The first table, we have the sales table, we have the menu table, and we have the member table. This is the entity relationship diagram. Now, the same as Power BI, how we have data modeling, where we can join the data that we create relationship between different tables. SQL has the same thing, where you can create relationship between different tables. Okay, so the sale table, they have their sale table as this. So with the sale table is connected. So the sale table has the 3 columns. Okay, they have the 3 columns. We have the customer ID columns, the order date, and then the product ID column. And then on the members table, they have the customer ID, and then they have the join dates. Okay, the menu table, they have the product ID, the product name, and then the price. Now clearly you can see that from the sale table connected to the member table is many to one relationship, and the same sale table connected to the menu table is many to one relationship. In that, on the sale table, the products, all the things over here are connected to the customer ID on the member table. And when you go to the the menu table, the product ID is the one linking the connection or creating the relationship between them. So that is about the entity relationship diagram. That is the relationship between the data set, the three tables inside the database. So this is what they have. Okay, and this is just a example of the data set. This is how the data set look like. When you look at the sale table, this is how the sale table look like. These are the customer IDs, the order dates, and then the product ID. And then when you go to the menu table, we have the product IDs, and then the product name, and then the price. So this is how the menu table also look like. The member table is having two columns, the customer ID and then the join date. So you can see that this one, the member table, the customer ID is the same as that of when it comes to the sales table. The customer ID is also there. And the same thing, the product ID on the sales table is connected to the product ID on the menu table. And clearly you can see that on the sales table, we have the customer ID as the primary key. And then on the menu table, you have the product ID as the primary key. And when you come to the member table, you have the customer ID as the primary key. So that is how they are connected together. Okay. So let's just look at the database. So this is fortunately, the database has already been created for us. So we won't waste much time creating the database. So we have the database created to us. But this database was created using SQL Server. So there is a bit different in when you are using MySQL. Okay, MySQL has a different way of creating the database. With the MySQL, we don't create schema, we rather create table, and we don't set search part to. We rather use and then we name the database name. So that is a few changes. Okay, there are just a few changes in the same thing, but it's going to have the same structure, but just that when you are using MySQL, the structure is different from. There are certain small things that we need to take note of. You have to change them, but you don't need to worry much about that. I've already made that changes. I've recreated the whole of this database using MySQL, and then you can get the link in the. You go to the description, click on the link, and then when you click on the link, you will see it will open the GitHub repo. Okay, it will open this one for you, where you go to the it will open this place for you directly, the repo. Okay, so it will open the repo for you. So when you open the GitHub repository for you, this one, the danisdina.sql, you can download that one. That is the new database I created using MySQL. So this one is the same as this one, it's the same thing. But however, this one is MySQL server. So I just recreated it using MySQL. Okay, using MySQL with this one. So I've already downloaded it. Once you download it, once you click on it and download, you can't use it. So you can see what is inside. Okay, so once you open, you can download, you can just click and then download from here. So you can just download it from here, and then you are good to go. So just download this, and then once you download it, you open your MySQL workbench, and then you load the data straight from there. So that is just about that. So, and then the questions that we need to, the case studies, the questions that we need to answer these are the questions that we need to answer. We need to help Danny answer. So we have in all 10 questions, and then we are going to answer all of them as our SQL project over here. So we have the first questions. It says that each of the following case study questions can be answered using a single SQL statement. So we are just going to write a single SQL statement for all of them. Just write single, and then that. So the first question is that what is the total amount each customer spent at the restaurant? Okay, so without wasting much time, let's just go straight to our SQL workbench, and then we can answer some of these questions. So once you open your SQL, once you open your workbench, you see when you open it, because you have already downloaded this database, when you open it, just click on this one, click on the folder, SQL folder over here. So once you click on this particular folder, it will ask you to where you can it will ask you where your download is located. Okay, so once where your download, you get your download where your download is. Okay, then you select this. My download is located somewhere here. So you just click on this one and then you open. So automatically it will open like this for you. Okay, it will open like this for you. So once that you load it and it's open, you just need to just go and run it. Okay, so once it's open, you just need to open and run it, and then you have access to the database. Because as soon as you run it, it will create a database for you and also set it in use so that you can use it for our analysis. So that is just that. So it's the same thing I have over here. So I'll just close this one because I already have that one. So all right, so I've already run it, and then it has created my database for me. So once that it's created, it's now, this database is now in use. Danny's dinner is now in use. So when I open the table section, once I click over here to open the table section, you can see that there are three tables. We have the member, the menu, and then the sales. Okay, so let's just walk through the table creations. So we have the Danny's dinner, and then the database created, and then the first table is the sales table. So we have the customer ID, the order ID, the order date, and then the product ID. The product ID, I set it to int, and then the customer ID is integer. Character. It's character because the customer ID are represented by A, B, C. So that is why it's character. And then the order date is a date function. So that is it. And then when you come to, we are now inserting informations into the sales table. So we said insert into. Then we mention the customers that we want to, that is the columns name. So we have the customer ID, the order date, and then the product ID. Then the values that we need to insert into it. So the first column name takes the first columns over here. The second column also takes the second value. The third column takes in that order. So once we are done, we go to the menu table. We repeat the same process, and then we go to that of the members table as well. Okay. Now you will notice a bit difference over here, that here the product name was given a character value of a character length of 5. The reason being that when you look over here, we have it's represented as a characters that is within that particular length. So that is why it's represented that way. Okay. So that is just that. So now let's come back to the case study. Okay. In SQL, when you want to give a comment to cover long area, the first one is just as yesterday I said, we have the small dash, that is the double hyphens to give the comment, and then there is also one that as soon as we have the backslash and then asterisk. So as soon as anything I type going downward are all comments. Anything I type going downward are all comments, unless I close it again with my asterisk and then back before I can be able to move out from that particular comment. So that's how we give a longer comment in SQL. So when you see this particular one, that is how we made this particular comment. So we say that we give that comment and then we move forward. So today we want to look at the first question. Okay, so just put your cursor here. Let's all do it together and answer them, and answer all the 10 questions. And we can use this as one of our questions on our portfolio. So let's look at the first questions. The first question is saying that what is the total amount each customer spends at the restaurant? So, but before we answer this, let's just look at the overview of the tables. So let's look at the overview. Okay, so with that one, I will go to the top here. I want to go to the top here. and then go and look at the table, each of the table one by one. So let's look at the table one by one. So just as we know how to select a table. So we say select. So I'll look at select, and then I want to select every column from the first table. So the first table is let me look at the members table. So we have members, and then I'll just close it. I just want to look at everything. So just run this select statement. So once I run this select statement, now I can see that, okay, so the members table, we are having two members over here. We have the member A and then the member B. Now, when you go to the customer table, when you go to the sales table, we actually have three IDs, that is A, B, C. But here we are seeing only two members. It should tell us something that, okay, it means that though they have the restaurant, they have many customers, but some are not members of the, you see, it's like a clubhouse where everybody can go there and go and buy something, but some people register to become member of the clubhouse. So that is something kind of that. But let's not dive into that for now. So we are just now looking at exploring the table. We want to look at how the table is, the structure of the table. So let's just look at some of these things. So we now have a glimpse of the table, the members table. So let's take a look at also the sales table. So we have the sales table. So you just run it. So with the sales table, you can now see this is what we are seeing. So we have the customer ID, the order date, and then the product ID. That is good. So we can now see that the last table, let's also look at the last table, which is the menu table. So we have the menu table. So this is what we can also see over here. You can also see from the menu table. So we have the menu table also. So we can see the product name, the price, and then the product ID. So now we now have a fair idea of how all the tables are. So we can now just move forward and then start with the questions. So the first question, it says that what is the total amount each customer spends at the restaurant? Okay, what is the total amount each customer spends at the restaurant? Now when we look at all the tables, we saw that the sales table was having the product ID, for that is, we have here the customer ID, the date, the customer date, okay, or the order date, and then the product ID. But it's not having anything about amount, money. The only table that is talking about amount is actually the menu table, where we have the menu table. They are the one that are having the product names and then the price. So it means that for us to be able to get the customer, we need to go to the sales table, and for us to get the product, the amount, we also need to go to the menu table, which means that we have to join the two tables together before you can extract any information that we want. Okay, so that means that you have to use a join function over here. So let's just select the two tables, join sales table to the menu table, then we can select what we want from it. So we have select. So I'll select everything and I'll say that from. So on the from statement, I want to select from the sales table. So sales, okay, and then I will join it with the menu table. So join to the menu. Okay, now I want to join it on part something. When we saw the sales table, we realized that the sales table is having a product ID. The menu table is also having a product ID, which means that we can join on the menu, the product ID. We can join the two tables on the product ID. So here, I want to make my code nice. So I'll press tab so that I give a bit space over there. So I'll say on, then the first one I'll say sales dot product ID. I want to link it to product ID. say is equal to, so I'm joining it so that when these two are equal, when the product ID in the sales table is equal to the product ID in the menu table. So over here, so I'll say menu dot product ID. Okay, so let me run this, and then this should give us good. So this is now giving us a glimpse of joining the two tables together. So you can now see each of the customer's ID over a customer ID. You can see the product ID too. You can see the product ID are two because this product ID is coming from the sales table and this product ID is coming from the menu table. So you can just take one and then leave the rest out. So what I'll do over here is that now that I've selected everything, all the two tables, I want to remove some of them. But before I do that, I remove some of the things. I want to alias this as small x, and then alias this one as small m, and then I'll change this one s, and then I'll change this one m. So now I will say that I will select the customer ID, and the customer ID is coming from the sales table. So I can just see that s dot customer ID. Okay, then comma. I also want to see the what do you call it, the prices. So the question is just asking for the total amount each customer spent. So it's like we are looking at the customer and we're also looking at the amount they spend. Okay, so I just need only two columns. So I also select that one from, so I'll say price. Okay, so let me run this. Good. Now you can see the reason why I didn't alias this. I didn't use the alias I used over here as m dot because the price is coming from the menu table, but I didn't use m dot. I didn't use m dot over there because the price column is unique. It's only found in the menu table, not in the sales table. So there can't be any ambiguity. Okay, they are unique. It's only located in the the menu table. That is why I didn't add the dot. So now I have these two. Okay, but that is not the question is looking for. The question is looking at the total amounts each customer spent. We can see that we have customer A, customer A, customer A, before you go to customer B, and then the question is asking for the total amount customer A spent, the total amount customer B spent in that order. So how do we find that? How do we find that particular? It means that I have to sum up the products, okay, the prices each of them spend. So I'll use the aggregate function as sum, the aggregate function called sum, and then I will just sum it up. Okay, now I don't want the column name to be sum into bracket price, so I'll alias that one with total. So I'll say total amount, I'll underscore total amount underscore spent. Okay, total amount underscore spent. And because I use aggregate function, I need to group by. If at any time you use aggregate function, we need to group by. If you don't group by, when you use aggregate function, if you don't group by, it will give us an error. Okay, if you don't use aggregate function, it will give us an error. So we need to say group by. Okay, what do you want to group by? We want to group by the customer IDs. We want to group it by the customer ID. So we have the s dot customer underscore ID. Then we use the semicolon to close it. Now when we run it, it will give us what we are looking for. Good. So now it has sum up the total amount spent by each customer. Okay, so you can see that it has given us the total amount each customer spent. Customer A, the total amount customer A spent was 76, B 74, and C 36. So this is what the question is actually asking us to solve. Okay, that is what is the total amount each customer spent at the restaurant. So we have answered this particular question. So if you want to report, one way you can report this is after when you can open your Word document and then you'll be putting the questions side by side. For example, we can just open a Word document, and then we will be pasting our response, our answers accordingly. So for example, the first one, you just copy this, because we are doing it, and at the same time we want to present reports at the same time. So the first question, I'll just copy the first question, and then I'll go and paste it over here. So once I paste it here, I will come down. So I'll come down and then go and pick the solution. Okay, one way that we can do is that we can just what do you call it, you can snip it, you can snip this, and then as a matter of fact, you want it fast, so you can just snip over here. You can use your snipping tool just to snip it and go and paste. Or if you want to type, you can type. Okay, I prefer to just snip it fast, so that I'll just snip this and then go and paste it in my Word document, so that if I finish and I want to redo it well, I can just redo it well. Okay, so I've pasted my first result, okay, because that is what is being asked for. Now I'll move on to the second. We just move on to the second question. Okay, we give the questions, then we start the second one. So we now want to move on. We now want to move forward. Okay. The second question is saying that how many days has each customer visited the restaurant? Now, Danny also wants to understand the number of days each of the customers they visit the restaurant. So it could be like they have been going to the restaurant day in, day out, day in, day out. But Danny wants to look at them individually. How many days did customer A visit the restaurant? Customer B, how many did customer C? That in that order. So we also want to count the number of days that they visit the restaurant. And one way we can do that is to look at the order dates. Okay, the order dates, because the order date will going to inform us that, oh, okay, so this customer came to order this on this date and came to order on this date as well. It could also be that some customers visited the restaurant 2 or 3 times a day. Okay, but Danny is not looking interested in that. He says that how many days, not how many times. So this is very crucial. So when you want to look at only the number of times they visit the restaurant, you may get it wrong. He says that how many days. So it means that it doesn't matter if they visit the restaurant 5 times. No, Danny is not interested in that. But he's interested in the number of days that they visit the restaurant. So in this one too, we can just get, let's just see what is in the sales table. Okay, so select, and then we want to select everything from the sales table. So sales table, and then we run it. So you can now see from the sales table, we have the order date, the product ID, the customer. So when you look at it clearly, you can see that customer A, even on the first day, the customer A visited on this particular date alone, visited the restaurant twice. Okay, visited the restaurant twice. So we can see that here too, customer A visited the restaurant twice. So that particular day visited over there twice. But so if we want to use this just to count all of them, we may get what Danny is interested in wrong. So what we need to do right now is we don't want to select the product. We just want only this particular one, and then number of time that they count. So we need the customers. So we will say customer ID. We need a customer ID. We select the customer ID. And then we also want to count the number of days they visited. So I'll count the date. So I'll use this aggregate function called count. Okay, sorry, I'll use the count function. And then I'll count. So count, and then we are counting the order date. Okay, so We have order underscore date. Then we close it. So let's run it and see what we are going to see. Good. We are getting an error because we are using count, which is an aggregate function, and we are not adding the group by to it. So we have to group by. Group by. Okay. So group by. We want to group by the customer ID. So you can now close this and then run. So this should give us good. So this has given us our answer. But this is not the answer. It has counted all right. But when we look at when we run only the select and then the customer ID, when we run at first the select statement and selected the whole this thing, we realized that there were some duplicates. For example, customer A visited on a particular day, customer A visited the restaurant twice. So here it is counting all those things for us. Okay, it is counting all those things for us, but we don't want that. We want distinct dates. So I'll use the word distinct. Okay, so you say dates. So you have distinct, comma, we put the distinct inside the count function. Okay, and we don't want the name as count into market order date. So we will alias this one to as number of days. So number underscore of underscore days. So days, and then I'll run it. So let's note the difference. So you can see when you run this, it should give us a distinct solution. Good. So it has now reduced that of the A to 4, and then that of the C to 2, showing that indeed it's now distinct. So this is the answer that Danny was interested in. Okay, this is the answer that Danny was interested in. So this one too, you can just copy the question and then we snip the solution. Copy the question and snip the solution and go and paste it in our report. Okay, so because we are actually this is part of the report, so that at the end of the day you will get our report. So just this way. So then we paste this one too. So this is our answer for this one too. So once we are done, we go to question 3. So we have our question 3. Now question 3 is saying that what was the first item from the menu purchased by each customer? Okay, so from the menu, when you open the menu, the customers, what was the first item they purchased when they came to the restaurants? What was the first thing that they all purchased? So that is what we want to look at. Okay, now with that, we know that we have the menu. The menu also show us the product names. Okay, and then the sale table shows us the customer ID, the order date, and then the product ID. So it means that we still have to join the two tables as well together. Okay, but in this case, I want to look at the product, the customer ID, and their product. So that is what we want. We are looking at customer ID and product. So let's select. We want to select, and then let's select everything, and then we come from. Then we want to select from the sales table. Okay, so we have sales, and then we want to join it to the menu table, and then let me alias all of them like just as we are doing. So this one as S, and then I want to join it on, as usual, the product ID. Okay, so S dot product ID should be equal to M dot product ID. Okay, so this should work. So once you run this, you should see everything over here. Good. So we now join the two together, but I want only this one, the customer ID. I want the customer ID. I also want the product name. So let me select only those two. So x dot customer ID, comma, m dot product name. So product name. So let's run this. Good. So you have these two. All right. Now, but here we are faced with some difficult challenge. When we look at this, we can see that we have customer A, and then the product name are also followed that way. But how do we know that the customer A, this is the first item that he bought? Customer B, this is the first item. Customer C, this is the first item. So how do we know that? There is one way we can actually know, okay, that is to rank these numbers, that is to give them numbers. So we want to number them so that they will number each other. And one of the ways that we do is that we have some functions that we call Windows functions. They are Windows functions, and we want to use, there are two of them that we can use here. We have the rank and then the row number, okay. So we have the rank and the row number. They perform the same thing, but one is a bit different. With the rank, when we are ranking, what we do is that we rank accordingly. So it's like if we have all these things, you are going to rank 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then with the row number, we are also going to just give them each row number, okay. But the difference between the two of them is their behavior, how they work, okay. The behavior, how they work. So let me just show you something over here. So with the rank, this is how the rank works. For example, if we are to rank, if we have maybe we have so many rows, okay. If we are to rank, let's say that we want to rank according to certain marks. So let's say we have 80, 80, 70, 20, okay, and then we want to rank them with the ranking, okay. With the ranking, it will give them according to numbers. So it will number this one 1, and it will assign 1 to this one as well because they are the same. And then when it comes here, it won't assign 2, it will jump because it will assume this one to be the second 80 to be 2. But it didn't put 2 there, it won't put 2 there, it will put the 1 there and then jump to this one, give it 3, and then give this one 4. So that's how the rank works. But with the row number, okay, the row number, with the row number, how it does it is that it gives unique number to all of them. So it gives unique number to all of them. So it gives this one 1, it will give this one 2, it will give this one 3, it will give this one 4. So it's like the row number will give a unique numbering to them. But with the ranking will rank all of them. But since these two are the same, it will give them the same rank number. It's going to give them the same rank number and then escape the number of times. So for example, if the 80 were supposed to be 3, okay, if the 80 were supposed to be 3, so let's say we have 80, 80, 80 before 70, and then 60. In the ranking, it will rank this one 1. It will also give one rank 1. It will rank this one also 1. But when you come here, it will jump and give this one 4 because it will say that, okay, this is 1, 2, 3, and then this is 4. And then give this one as 5, okay. And when you are using this, and you are picking only one, it will return all this, any of this, because that is, all these have been given assigned that particular rank. So when you are looking for rank 1, all these things will appear. But with the row will actually assign to them 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4 unique. And then when you are looking for row 1, it will bring out this. Row 2, it will bring out this. So that is how the two works. They actually work in the same order, but their behavior is the one that's actually determined. So when we come here, we will use that particular function. The two of them are Windows functions. So I'll put comma here, okay. I'll put comma at the end of the select statement. Then I'll come here. Then I'll use row number. Okay, with the row number, this is how we do it. We use the row and then underscore number. Okay, just as I said earlier on, with SQL there is not that much case sensitive. It's not case sensitive, so you can use the small letter or capital letter, it will still work. So that is one way. Okay, that is one way that we can do. Okay, so we say row number and we would open our parentheses. Okay, so this is how we go by it. But how do you want to rank them, or how do you want to assign the rows to them? So we are going to partition the columns. Okay, so we are going to partition the column and tell them that, okay, hey, I want you to give them the row number like in this order for me. And then when you are giving the number, when you are giving them, do it in this part over this particular one. So over here, I'll put over there. I'll say over, and then I'll open parentheses, and then I'll partition it because I want to give the number one by one. So I'll say partition. So we have partition. So partition by, okay, partition by, and I'm looking at the customer ID over here. So that is where my focus is. So partition by what? Customer ID. So s dot customer ID, and then s dot customer ID. Okay, now I'm not done yet. So I have to also order. How do I want to order it? I want to order it by, so let's just do a short selection over here at the top for you to, so that you see something. Okay, so select, I want to select all, and then I want to select only from the sales table. Okay, so let's just run these two. So you can see that we have order dates. Okay, the order date. So if I'm partitioning by customer ID, how do I want to order? I want to order it by the date. Okay, so that you assign the numbers based on the date for me, based on the date. So I want to order by the date. So that is how we do the part. So I will write order by. Okay, so once I have order by, then I'll choose the order date. Okay, the order date is also located in the sales table. So x dot order underscore date. Okay, so now I can close the parentheses. Okay, I can close them, but I want it to, so that the whole of these ones, it's actually going to create a new column for me and assign rows to all these orders. Okay, so I want to make it so that it will give me, it won't just write on top like any name that I don't want. So I want to give it, so I want it to, like, okay, so do it this way, and then you assign a row number. Just make it RN for me. Okay, row number. So I'm just saying that the RN, I'm just using to represent row number. Okay, so when I run this, it should create a column of customer ID, product name, and then row number column for me, so that I can move on with. Good. So this is what we have. So you can see that all the products has been given a rank. Okay, for the customer A, the items that customer A pitches, all of them have been given rank. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, up to 6. When you go to customer B2, the same thing. Customer C, also the same thing. So let me just open this a bit. So you can see that from customer C, it's also giving numbers. Customer B has also been giving numbers. Customer A has also been giving numbers. So that is actually what we are looking for. But we are not done yet. The question is saying that, what was the first item? So now what I want to do is that, okay, I have been able to give numbers to all the items that they purchased. So what I want to return now is that I want to return this one, customer A. I want to return the first item of customer A. Customer B2, I want to return the first item. Okay. Customer B2, I want to return the first item. Customer C2, I want to return the first item. So these are the three things that I want to return. So how do I return these three? How do I return this 3? That is now the problem. Okay, in SQL we have something that we call a temporal table. Okay, we have something we say that common temporal expressions. Okay, just an expression that we use. Mostly we represent it by CTE. Okay, that is CTE, which is a common table expression. Okay, so what we do is that you see the way we have tables inside our database. Okay, with this particular one, it means that if I want to use that, what I'm trying to do is that I want to turn the whole of this my expression to a temporal table. Okay, it won't be added to this, but it will just be a temporal table over here that I can still use inside. I can still use inside the query over here. Okay, so that is it's one way that so that is what you commonly hear. You commonly use the term CT. Okay, so that is what we do. So that is what I want to turn. I've already created this particular table. So now I want to turn the whole of this one to a temporal table where I can, based on this temporal table, I can return only the first one here, the first one here, and the first one for each of the customers. So that is what I want to do. So I'll go to the top here of my query, and then I'll write with, okay, with, and I can name it anyhow I want. Okay, I can name it anyhow. So I will name this one as CTE, and then as, I'll put as there, and I'll come down, I'll open parentheses. So now I'll come and also close this particular one. So it's like these two brackets, I've closed it. So now I'll put in all this expression into a temporal table using this particular keyword. And this thing that I've created over here, CTE, is now the name of my temporal table. It is not, you can use any name that you want. For example, I can use, maybe I can say that, what do you call it? First table or first item table. Okay, I can name it first item table, showing that, okay, it's just a first item table. But the name doesn't matter. It's just a temporal table that I'm creating. But however you understand, you can always use that to get it. Okay, so that is a temporal table. And now that I've created a temporal table, I'll come down and now come and do select. Okay, I'll create a new select statement where I'll select from this table. So you see how interesting it is. So now I'll say select. Okay, I'll say select, and then from this temporal table has some columns, like we have the customer ID, the product name, and then the row number. Okay, but I don't want to return the row number. So on this temporal table, I want to return only these two, customer ID and then product ID. So here I'll say customer, because this customer ID name is from this table. I'll say customer ID. Okay, comma, then product name. So I'll come down from where? Where do I want to select from? Which table? I want the new temporal table that I created. So this CT. Okay, so I'll say CT. Okay, and I want to select only those from the table, only people with the rank number 1, because they are the people that I want. I want those with the one. They are the first. They have the first item, the name of the first item of things. Okay, the first thing that they purchase. So I'll use the where clause. See where this over here, how I say it should be RN. So when I come here, I'll say where RN equals 1. Okay, I'm done. So once I'm done, when I run it, I should get this one, customer A with chassis, and then customer B2, I should get the first thing that customer B also purchased. Customer C2, I should get the first item. So that is what I'm expecting to get. So now I can run all of them together. Oh yeah, and that is it. So I've gotten what I'm looking for. Okay, so I've gotten what I'm looking for. So that is how we can write to answer this particular question. It says that what was the first item from the menu purchased by each customer. So these are the first item each of them purchased. So we are done with this particular one as well. We now move on to the question 4. We now move on to question 4. So question 4 is saying that what is the most purchased item on the menu and how many times was it purchased by all customers? So this is also another challenge. So the question 4 is saying that what was the most purchased item on the menu and how many times was it purchased? Okay, how many times was it purchased? So we have to look at how many times the items that were purchased and how many times they were purchased. For us to know the number of times that an item was purchased, we have to use the aggregate function, the count aggregate function, the count function, to count the number of times that an item was purchased. Okay, so we are going to use that. But here, when you look at the question, it says that what was the most item purchased? So we need to return the product name from the menu table, and then we also need to return the the number of times that particular item was purchased. A particular item was also purchased. So let's just have to select. Let me select all, and I'll say from the sales table. Okay, because I'll be returning the customer ID as well. So sales table, and then let me just alias them once and for all as S. Then I'll join the menu table. Menu as M. So I want to join it on okay. So I have s.product ID should be equal to m.product ID. Okay, so this should help me be able to return what I'm looking for. Okay, but because I want only the product name, let me return the product. Okay, so the product is on the menu table, so m.product underscore name. So let me run this and see. Good. So I now have only the product. Okay, I now have only the product for all of them. All right, but I also want to, it says that what is the most purchased item on the menu and how many times was it purchased? So I'm also looking for we are looking for the number of times that each items, these ones were purchased, the one that is the most purchased one. Okay, the one that is the most purchased one. So I'll use the count function to count all these items one by one. So I'll put over here, I'll say count. Okay, and with this kit, I'm still looking out to count. I want to still count the product name. So I'll repeat the same thing, m.product name. Okay, then I'll close it, and I'll alias this one as, I'll say that other count, or okay, or maybe any way that I want to say, because it says that what is the most purchased item on there. So I can say that most purchased item. Okay, I can say most purchased item. Let me just copy this. Mostly lazy programmers always like to do copy and paste, so forgive me for that. So I just copy the same thing. So our alias is as most purchased, and then okay, let me add item to it so that it will make sense. Good. So now, but because I use count, I have to group by. So I'll do group by. Okay, so I want to group by probably maybe the first one over here, the product name. So let me group by the product name. Okay, group by the product name. So let me run this and see what I'll get. So good. So now once I group by, I'm having all of the most pages item for all of them. Okay, the most pages item for all of them. But you can see the most pages one is this one. Okay, and the question is asking what is the most pages item. So we just need only one, the item with the highest number of order. That is what we want over here. So how do I get that? How do I return only this one? Okay, how do I return only this one? To return this one, I'll have to rearrange this one in a way that this one will go to the top, this one will be on top, and then I can limit it to only one and return only one. Okay, so what I will do over here, after I do my group by, I will also, oh sorry, after I do my group by, I will order by. Okay, I'll order by, and this time around I want to order by the number of counts. Okay, I want to order by the count, this one. Okay, but so that is what I want to do, and then I want to return it, I want to arrange it in descending order so that this one will move to the top. So I will say DES as a symbol for it, because in SQL the default is ascending order. So I want to override that default and make it descending. So if I run this, it should rearrange it for this one to go to the top. Good. So now it has rearranged it for me. But I'm looking for only one. So because I'm looking for only one, the first one, the most one, I'll limit it by one. I'll say limit, and then I'll put one there and I'll close it. So this should be okay for me. Good. So this has returned only one answer for me. Okay, this has returned only one answer for me. So this is the answer for this particular one. Okay, so for reporting sake to the same thing, you can copy this and then you go and paste that one into your Word as well, so that at the end of the day you have a complete report. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question, which is question 5. Okay. Okay, so as we move on, remember to share the video or share to your friends to also join us as we all learn. This is a complete data portfolio project that you can use for your portfolio. And then at the end of the bootcamp, we will learn how we can develop a portfolio to share all our projects, put all our projects that we developed so far. So if you have been mixing any of the projects, kindly go back and then go and develop all of them, so that we put all of them at the end of the series. We would develop a portfolio project where we can put all our projects on to showcase all our learning together on. So kindly remember this, and then keep all your projects safe. Okay, all right, and don't forget, as I said, don't forget to share and like. Okay, so question 5 is saying that which item was the most popular for each customer? Which item was the most popular for each customer? So we also need to locate the item that was most popular for each customer. So let's go again. So it's like our full focus is on the menu and then the seal, the menu and the seal, because that is, we are always combining the two of them. So this question too, we need to join the two tables together to be able to answer, because which item, and the item is located in the menu table, and then the customer is also located on the sales table. So we select, then we want to select all for now, and then we want to select from the sales table, we want to alias this as S. Then we want to join it to the menu table. So you say menu, we want to also alias this one as M. How do you want to join? You want to join it on then x dot product id equal to m dot product id. Okay, so this is what we have. Now we won't run, we can choose to run this, but then let's continue, because we know that this will definitely work. Okay, so what we are interested in most is the customer ID. We want the customer ID, that is the customer, and we also want the product name. Okay, so let's just not waste that. Let's just go straight and return only those ones. The customer ID, and then we have the product name. So the product name. So let's just run this. Good. Now we have all this, but we are also looking at the say that which item was the most popular. Okay, so it means that we also need to look at something again. Which item was the most popular? Now we will use count function here as well. Okay, so we use count, and what we are going to do is that instead of us to count something, we will just say that we are counting. We will put star there, and then I want to return this one. Okay, as then I will say that maybe purchase. So I'll use the word purchase. So purchase count, okay, to show that I'm counting the things that were purchased, okay, the number of times a particular thing was purchased. So I'll use the purchase count, and when I come here, I have to group by, because I have used aggregate function. So I have to group this one by. So group by, then I'll group by customer ID and product name. So I want to group by the two of them. So just copy this one, come and paste it here. And now this should let me keep going. Okay, so let me run this and see. Yes, I've gotten this, but I'm not done. I need the most. Okay, I need the most. So how do I know that this is the most purchased item? When you look at all of them, they have all been given the respective ranks or numbers. Sorry, it has counted the customer A purchased this one, and this one 2, this one 3, this one 4. But we need which of them was the most one. Which of them was the most? Okay. So how do we return the most over here? If you look at all of them, how do you return the most item? Okay. So here too, we are also going to use the same Windows function. Okay. The Windows function that I talked about, we have the what do you call it? The rank and the row number. Okay. So we are going to use any of them. So this time let's use the rank. Okay, we want to rank it. So let's use the rank, and then we rank over. So you just follow the same format, and then partition by, and then I want to partition by customer ID. Okay, so customer ID, and I want to order by, then order by, and now I want to order by this particular count, the count that I've done over here. So I want to order by this count. So I'll say order by count, and then I'll put the star there. Okay, so once I do that, I want to change this counting to, I want to return it in descending order. So, and then I'll descend already as, then rn. So let me just do that. This should help me with this. Okay, so this should keep me going. Where Where is this error coming from? Okay, this error is coming from this. So as soon as over here, because I'm using rank, I have to put comma here. Good. So once you are working, you should be taking notice of everything. Good. So now it has rearranged the whole of this one, okay, in descending order for me, and now has now given the rank. So you can now see that the 3 has been given rank 1, okay, over here to the same thing. Now, one of the things that I said about earlier is about the ranking. With the ranking, if you look over here, just as I have explained earlier, if you look over here, the B, this one, you see that the 3 of them are the same. The 3 of them are the same. And the rank is giving each of them 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So you see, the rank is giving each of them 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. But if I have used a row number, it will not do it that way. To give this one 1, and then beginning to count them separately, give them separately. But it's rather fortunate it's good for us because all these things are unique. Okay, they are all unique, so we won't have much problem over here. If they were not unique, it means that we would have problem here. If, for example, they were the same thing, we would have encountered a lot of problem because it won't be able to detect. It will just give all of them that same 1, 1, 1, and we can't move forward with it. Okay, so we are okay with this particular one. So now it has ranked all of them for me. But which one do I want to return? I want to return those with only 1. So I'll have to create another CTE, that is a common table expression over here as well. So I have to create a new CTE also over here so that I can return only those ones that are being ranked 1. Okay, I can return only those because they are the most item that was popular. Okay, for over here, the customer A, when it comes to customer A, the most popular item is this one. When it comes to customer B, with customer B, look like the most popular item is all of them because it's the same thing. Customer C, this is the most popular item, the only one. Okay, so we want to use them. So we go down again and we say wait. Then this time around, I want to name this one as most popular. Okay, as, and then open my parentheses and I'll come and close it here. I'll come and close this parenthesis over here. Okay, and then down now, I'll now come and do a select statement. Select. So with this select statement, I want to return this, the customer ID, and then the product name. Those are the only things I want to return. So I'll say customer ID, comma, product underscore name. So from the table name is most underscore popular. Okay, where this RN is equal to 1, where the ranking over here, this ranking is equal to 1. So let me close this. So this should help me return only the most popular items. Good. So it has returned only the most popular item for each customer. So it says that which item was the most popular for each customer. And when it comes here, these are the most popular item for all the customers. Okay, these are the most popular item for all the customers. They are all unique. Okay, the reason why customer B is having 3 items being the most popular is that it counts the same thing. So it can be said like it's ordered for the 2 of them at the same time. For example, anytime it's ordered for 1, it's ordered for B, order for the same thing, like it's ordered for the same items all the time. So to him, all those items were most popular. Okay. So let's go to question 6. Okay, so it's like as we are moving on, we are encountering advanced. The questions are being a bit a step ahead. So we are getting difficult, more difficult like that going. So it's testing our understanding and it's testing our skills. So it will help us also be able to, anytime we encounter SQL challenges, these are the steps that we follow to answer all the questions. Okay, so once you are done with this, for your reporting, you can copy this same thing and then you go and paste it in your Word documents or wherever you are taking your report. Okay, so the question 6 is that which item was purchased first by the customer after they became a member? Okay, now all the customers at a point in time they became a member of Danny's Dinner. Okay, they became a member of Danny's Dinner restaurant. So which items, when they joined, which item did they purchase first? Okay, which item did they purchase first? That is what we are trying to look at over here. So for us to be able to determine that, we have to also write another function. Okay, so here let's do our normal select statement. Let's do our normal select statement over here. So we say select, then let's just select everything as usual from, then the first thing is the sales table, then as, then we say alias as s, we want to join it to, okay, here we want to join it to the menu table as m, then on s dot product id should be equal to m dot product id. Okay, so we are selecting these two. Okay, now here the question is a bit tricky. It says that which item was purchased first by the customer after they became a member. So it means that we have to also go to the member table as well. Okay, it's only the member table that will show us those that were members, those that became member of Danny's Dinner. So here, once that we are done with it, let's go and do another join statement so that we join these two tables to the third table, which is the members table as well. So you will see, we write another join statement. Okay, and this time around we are joining the members. Okay, so let's alias this one as MB. Okay, because we already have M here, so we can't use the M as again. So let's join that one as MB, and then on. Okay, when you go to the member table, let's select the member table and see something. Okay, so let's just go down here and select only the members table. So select all from, then you have members, the members table. So let's run this and see. When you see the members table is also having a customer ID and a join it, which means that we can join the sales table to the members table through the customer ID. So when you come here, I'll do join on, then I'll say s dot customer ID. So customer ID should be equal to the MB, which is the member table dot customer ID. Okay, so I can clear away this. So this should help me be able to join the two together. Okay, now let me just run this and see if all my three tables are joined together. Good. So all the three tables have been joined together. And now I'm not looking for all the columns. So let me try to start selecting some of the columns. The first column I'm interested is in the customer. So s dot customer ID, because we need the customers' IDs to know them. And then the next part I want is that it says that we also need to know the products, because it says that which item was purchased first, so it means that the product name. Okay, So that one is on the menu table. So product m dot product name, okay, comma, and then now I need their order date as well, okay, so that I can be able to know the date they order and then the date they also joined the group. Knowing that will help me be able to differentiate that, okay, so this particular order came after the member joined the Danny's dinner, okay, after they became a member. So knowing the order date and the join date will help me be able to know that, okay, this order came before or after they joined or they became a member. So the order date is on the sales table. So x dot order date, comma, and then I'll also go to the member table. The member table, the join date is on the member table. So join dots or underscore date. So good. So I've now been able to separate this. So let me run this, and this should give me good. Just a simple table like this. Also, all my table has been reduced to very simple like this. Now, I'm not done yet. I need those that join at a particular date. Okay, those that join after they became a member, like those the orders that they placed when they became a member. Okay, and I need to locate the items that were purchased first when a particular customer became a member. So that is what I want. So what I will do over here is that I'll come up with a rank, okay, and in the rank I'll try to rank all of the time they became a member, okay, and then I'll rank them in order. So after ranking them, then I'll try to filter the order date where the order have to come after they became a member. So it means that the order date has to be greater than the join date, okay. In that case, it will show that, okay, so for example, when we use the order date greater than the join date, it's showing that, okay, so for example, if the order date is 2021, 1st January 2021, it will check, is 1st January 2021 greater than maybe the join date. If the join date is somewhere around 1st January 2022, is the order date greater than the join date? Okay, if it is greater than, then rank it for me as this one. Okay, so it will look at all of them, then give it a rank, so that I will display only one, because I'm interested in displaying only one item, okay, for each of them. So it could be that two items will be having the same date, okay. So if I'm able to rank them accordingly, I'll be able to pick the first ones, okay. So that is what you want to do right now. So I'll put comma, and then I'll use the rank statement to rank them over, okay, over, and then partition by. So I'll partition by then customer. So customer ID, and then I'll order by. So the order by, I want to order by the order date. I want to order it by the order date. And then, so if I close this, I'll alias this as RN, just to as a name. Okay, so once I'm done with that, I will come here, and then I will say that where x dot order date, okay, just as I said earlier on, I want the order date to be greater than the join date. Order date greater than the MB dot join date. Okay, so this is what I want to return. I want to return this particular thing. So let me run this and see. This should good. So it has ranked all of them for us. Okay, and now you can see that it's customer A, the customer A, the orders that is made that have been ranked. So you can see the one that has been given first rank, showing that this one was the first. Okay, showing that this one was first. And then customer B2, the same thing, showing that this one was first. Now, when you look at the join date, okay, when you look at the join date and then order date, you could see the difference between them. Where we have 2021, the 10th January 2021, and where we have also here 7th January 2021. Okay, so the order date should be greater than. Okay, so you can see that the person joined before placing the order. The person joined on the 7th of January and placed the order on the 10th. So if you see all the dates, that is how all the dates looks like. This one to join on the 7th and place the order on the 11th. Joined on the 7th, place the order on the 11th. Joined on the 9th and place the order on the 11th. Joined on the 9th and place the order on the 16th. Joined on the 9th and place the order even in the first February. Okay, so our query has been able to filter those that place the order after they join. Okay, good. So it means that we are on the right path. Now we move on. The question was like, which item was purchased first? So I now need the one that was purchased first. And if you look at all of them, this one was the one that was purchased first, and this one too was the one that was purchased first. So how do I return only this? How do I return only those that were given rank 1? Because they were the one that was purchased first. Even the date should tell you that the time that the order was placed. Okay, the order was placed before even others, and here too this order was placed before the rest. So I want to return only those ones, and the way I will do that is also to create, just as usual, like how we have been doing first. CT, okay, I'll create CT, and I'll return the ranks, those that are rank 1 for each. Okay, so that is what I'm going to do. So I would put the whole of this one in brackets. So let me close the brackets here and open it at the top. Good. So on top of it, I'll write my EC, I'll say wait. And then this time around, I want to give it the name first order. First underscore order. So, and then I'll say as. Good. So once that is done, I'll now come down here and come and create and select the orders. I need only the customer ID and then the order, the product name. So select, and then I'll say customer. So customer ID, comma, and then product name. Good. From this one, this first table, okay, the first order table. So like this. Then I'll see where the rank is equal to 1. So that's what I want to select. So if I run this, it should return only this one. Those with 1, it should return only 2 outcome, giving me an idea at the first thing. Good. So it has returned only 2. Okay, and these are the items that were purchased after they became a member. Okay, so it's now when we open the members table, we saw that there were only 2 members. So it's only A and B that were members of the member table. It should tell us that even though there are other customers, it's only these people that joined to became member. The rest were not member of the Danny's dinner. But however, they go there to go and place order. Okay, so that is that for the question 6. So let's go to question 7. So we have question 7. Question 7 is saying that which item was purchased just before the customer became a member. So this time around, the item was purchased just before the person became a member. So what do we do? In this time around, what we will do is that we would it's just the same thing. It's just the same thing as what we just did, but the opposite. Okay, this time around is opposite. So we won't waste much time writing there. We will just copy the same thing over here and then change some things inside. So you just copy the same thing, because it says just that the question are just the same. It says that which item was purchased just before the person became a member, and this one was that purchased first before. Which item was purchased first before the person became, after the person, sorry, after. So this one was after and this one was before. So we just copy this and then you come and paste it in. And what we are going to do is that we will change this one. When we come here, we change this particular where clause, because this where clause is showing that, okay, the order date greater than, okay, the order date greater than, but because we are looking at after, before the person became a member, we have to change this to less than. Okay, so you have to change it to less than, so that it will be like, okay, the order date, the person order before the person became a member. So we are looking for the order before the person became a member. And also, these are rank. We want to rank it in a particular order, that it will be in descending. But before that, let's run this. Let's just run only what we have inside the CT and then see. So you can see the date here. You can see that all the orders that have been placed, the order date is less than this. So the person placed the order on the first day of January 2021 and became a member on the 7th day of January 2021. So the person placed the order before coming here. Okay. So now we can now rearrange it so that you arrange it in descending order. So this is in ascending order. So you want descending order. And now let's run it and also see. Let's only run what we have in the table. Good. So now this has all been rearranged for us. Okay. So you can now see the differences. The person ordered before he became a member, just like that, in that order. So because we now have that, now we want to return only one. Okay, we want to return only one. Okay, so we will run the whole thing together with our ETE, and then we get our answer. Good. So these are the orders that were placed before the person became, before the customer became a member. So which item was placed just before? So customer A, these are the items they placed before they became a member. So this is how we go about the question 7 as well. So question 8. Look at the question 8. The question 8 says that what is the total item and amount spent for each member before they became a member? Okay, what is the total item and amount spent? So you are looking at the total item and then the amount they spent. Okay, and the total item, as usual, it's in the the menu table. So we have to go and count the product name. Okay, we have to count the product name, and here we are looking at two things. That is the total item. So we are counting the items and then amount spent. So we are also looking at the price, and we are looking at the price. So it means that we have to join all the three tables together, because the price is located on the menu table. Then we also have the member table, and we also have the sales table. Okay, so we have to get when we come to the member table. Okay, because we are looking at members also over here before they became a member. So we have to pick the members from the member table, and then we have to look at the amounts they spent, and we have to look at the total item as well. So all the three tables have to be joined together as well. So let's look at how we will do it. First of all, let's do our select statement, let's just select everything and try to join all the three tables together. Okay, so from the first table, as usual, sales table, I'll alias it as S. I'll join it to the menu table. Then I'll alias it as M. Then I'll join it on the X dot product ID. Product ID equal to M dot product ID. Then I'll also I'll do another join. Where I'll join the members table. The members table, alias is at MB. Okay. Then I'll join it on here. I'll join it on the S dot customer ID. Customer ID should be equal to MB dot customer ID. So I should have this. So once I have this, I've joined all the three tables together. Okay, so let me run this. Good. So all the three tables have been joined together. But I'm looking at, I only want the customer ID part of it because I need the customers. I also need the products, okay, the product name, and I also need the amount. But here I'm looking at the total item, so the product name is not necessarily needed that much. I only have to count the products. So I'll say X dot customer ID, comma, and then I'll use count because I want to count the total item. So I'll use count, and then inside the count I have M dot product name. So because the product is on the the menu table, and the menu table has the alias as M. So I have this, then I'll close this. So I want to alias it as total item because I want it to total item. Good. So I have total items, and then the second thing I'm looking at is the amount spent. Okay, so here I'll also use another aggregate function, sum, again, and this time around I want to sum up the price. So the price, and I'll alias this one to as total spent or total amount spent, total underscore amount underscore spent. So I have this total underscore amount underscore spent. So once I have this, it should be able to help me. But because I use aggregate functions, I have to group by. Okay, I've used aggregate functions, but I have to group by. But before I group by, the question says that what is the total amount, the total item and amount spent for each member before they became a member. So I need to select only members, only dates, only the dates that were less than the join date. That is the order date less than, just like the way we have this one here. Okay, so basically it's this one. Okay, basically it's this one. We have the order date being less than the join date. So let me just copy this and come and then paste it here. So it's showing that the order date should be less than the join date. Okay, they should place the order before they became a member. The order should be placed before they became a member. So now I'll group by because I've used aggregate function, group by, and this time around I just want to group by customer. I have customer ID. Then I'm done. This should solve this particular problem. Should return the answer for us. Good. So this is what we have. So it's showing us the the customers, the item, the total item they purchase, and then the total amount they spend. Okay, and as usual, is these two people are the only members, are the only people that were members. So as usual, the question was what is the total item, and the total item for each of the members is this one. Customer A, B is having 3 customers, A is having 2, and then the total amount spent for each of them is also being displayed. So that is how we approach the question 8 as well. Okay. So let's look at question 9. So question 9 says that. So question 9 says that. Let me just break this down. Okay. Let's just break the question 9 down so that it will be simple for us to see. Okay. So it says that if each $1 spent equal to, okay, kind of typo mistake here, so check it out. So it says that if each $1 spent equal to 10 points, okay, so let me just make the changes here. Equal to, okay, if each $1 spent equal to 10 points, and sushi has a 2 times point multiplier, how many points would each customer have? So we are going to do some calculations. It says that if each $1 spent equals 10 points, okay, so anytime somebody spends $1, it means that the person is going to get 10 points. So if you spend $1, you get 10 points, which means that if you spend $2, it's 2 times 10. $5, 5 times 10. Okay, and then we now have another condition saying that sushi is having 2 times point multiplier. So let's look at something. What they are saying is this. Okay, so if we have the prices here, so we have price column. So let's say we have price column, and then we have points. Okay, so and then let's say we have items. Okay, so what they are saying is that, let's say we have item A. Okay, first one item is sushi. Okay, and then we have maybe item B, item C, item D, and so forth. Okay, so if this one, okay, if the price for this one, let's say somebody bought this item and the person spent, let's say $30. The person also spent, okay, let me not use 30, let's just use simple, let's say $5. Somebody also use 6, some use 3, some use 4. Okay, so what we are saying over here is that, okay, so if we spent $1, okay, that $1 is equal to 10 points. So it means that all this we have over here supposed to be equal to times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10 times 10. But the thing is saying that sushi is having, so let me clean this line and just make it good. So it says that, so the question is saying that if somebody bought an item and the price of that item, $1 there, is equal to 10 points. So for example, this particular customer is going to have 6 times 10, which will give us 60. So this will be the total point for this particular one. But when you come to sushi, it says that the sushi is having 2 times multiplier, 2 times point multiplier, which means that aside the 10 times this particular one, there is also another 2 times multiplier. So it means that sushi point will now becomes like this: 5 times the 10 and then times the 2 times multiplier. Okay, so this will give us 50 times 2 give us 100. So this will increase the points of, okay, sushi. So that is what he's trying to say. So let's just go and see how we can do this part. We can tackle that. So first of all, let's try to select all our customers. Let's bring out our customers. Okay, and then one way that we can do that is here we are going to use case statement. Case statement just work like the if statement. Okay, so it works like this: case 1, if case 1, when case 1 is equal to this, then do this. When case 2, or when this particular case is equal to this, then do this, else do this. Okay, so that is what we are going to do. We are going to apply case statement. So the first one is, I want to select some, so let me select, so let's just select and join certain areas together. So let me just select from the sales table that I'll see as M. I will join it to the menu table, okay, as M. So then I'll see on, so I'm joining it on s.product_id should be equal to m.product_id. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. But from the select statement, okay, the select statement, I want the customer ID. So I want the customer ID, comma, and then customer ID, comma, and I also want the product name. Okay, so m.product name, and then I want to display the prices as well. So m.price. Okay, so this is what I want to display. So let me run this. Good. So now I have all these things. So what I want to display right now is that I want to give it a case so that it will now be doing my calculation for me. So if you come here, okay, each of these, multiply them by 10, because $1, the price is $10 over here. So this $10 multiplied by 10, this $15 multiplied by 10, this $12 multiplied by 10. But when you see sushi, increase the multiplier, okay, increase it by the answer by 2. That is, multiply the answer by 2 for me. Okay, so that is what I want to do right now. So here, over here, I'll put a comma here. After the select statement, I'll put a comma here and then come down. And when I'm down, I'll do a case statement. So I'll press my tab to give. You can just type everything, there's nothing wrong with it. But because I want my code to look nice, I'll press my tab and then I'll type case. So the word case, and then I'll come down, press tab again so that I'll go a bit further. So now this is how the case statement works. So when the first one, I'll say when m.product name. Okay, so I'm trying to locate where sushi is. When when the product name is equal to, so the m dot over here is just referring that, okay, go to the menu table. So in the menu table, when product name is equal to, then I'll open parenthesis that is in quotes, sushi, then I'll close it. So when sushi, okay, when product name is equal to sushi, then the word then, okay, my price, okay, this price, then this price, m, so it's in the menu table, m dot price should be times the 10, which is the original times 10, because each dollar is equal to times 10, times the multiplier, which is 2, because it says that each $1 spent equals 10 points, and sushi has a 2 times points multiplier, so times 2. Okay, so I will do that times 2. Then I'll go to the next step. So okay, now I'm done with these case studies. If there is more, I can continue. Okay, so if there is also another case, I can say that okay, once I'm done with this, when, then I'll continue. Okay, but since there is no case again, I'll just say that I'll just now use else. When this is equal to this, then do this for me. Else, then I'll use the word else. Okay, so I'll say else the m dot price should be times 10. Okay, should be multiplied by 10 for all of them, because it says that all of them, they are, each $1 spent should be equal to $10. Okay, sorry, each $1 spent should be equal to 10 points. So if it's the sushi is not there, if you see sushi, then do this for me. Else multiply the rest by 10. That is all. And once that I'm done with all my case, I will now come out and say that I'll go back so that it will align with the case, and then I'll end. I'll say end. So I'm done with the case statements. But I want to alias this multiplication, okay, by something. But let's just run it and then see what's happened. Good. So you can see that it has done the calculations for me. But the heading has been, the column name has been the case study. Okay, and that is not what I want. So I want to alias this as points. Okay, so I'll say end, and then as, then I'll use the word points. So once I run this, it should change the heading to points. Good. So this is what it has done. So this is what it have. So when you look at the answer, you could see that here sushi is supposed to be is $10, so it's supposed to be 10 times 10, which is supposed to give us 100. But because sushi is having a 2 times multiplier, it's now multiplying that one by another 2, which is giving us 200. When it comes to curry, it's having only $15, and 15 times 10 should give us 150, and that is all. Okay, so that is how it has done the calculation. Anytime you see sushi, it multiply it by the 10, then the 2 times multiplier, it multiply by that again. So that is what we have. Now let's now come back again. Here is the main question: how many points would each customer have? So right now we have done all this. We now need to sum up all these points for each customer. So customer A, we have to sum up the points for customer A, all of these points for customer A. We have to sum up all these points. When you go to customer B to the same thing, customer C to the same thing. So now how do we do that? Now to do that, we'll use the CTE again. Okay, we are going to create a CTE, that is a common table expression again. Okay, we are going to create that one again to solve this particular thing. So I'll put the whole of this one in brackets. Okay, I'll put it in parentheses. So let me close the parentheses here, and then the top here too. Let me go and open it here. So with that, on top of it, I'll write my CT with, and this time around, I want to name it customer points. So I have customer points. Okay, customer points, and then as. So customer point as this one. So this become a temporal table. The customer point become a temporal table with this expression inside. Okay. So now I'll now come and do my select statement. So select. Now I want only the customer name and then the points. Okay, the points. Those are the only thing that were asked. How many points would each customer have? So I only needed the point and the customer. So I'll select the customer ID So customer ID. Then because I want to sum up the points, I want to add all points together, I'll use the sum function. So sum, and then here, how did I name this case? The whole of this case, I name it, I said that you should make the whole of this case as point. And so this is where the calculation is taking place. So because the name of where the calculation is taking place is point, I want to add those points. Okay, I want to add, and that is the name of this particular column. So I will say sum up points. Okay, then I'll close it, and I don't want to see the word sum into bracket point, so I will name it as the total. I'll say total points. Okay, so from where do I want to select it from? I want to select it from this table, which is the customer points table. That is the temporal table created. So like this, and now I use a sum function, which is an aggregate function here. So because I've used the sum function, the aggregate function there, I have to group by. So group by, and then group by what? The customer ID. Okay, I want to group by the customer ID. So now let me close it. So if I select the whole of this and run, it should sum up all these points for me. Good. So it has now summed up the points. So you can see that each point, each of the customers is having their total points. For example, customer A is having a total point of 860. Customer B is having a total point of 940. Customer C is having a total point of 360. So that is how we approach this particular question by solving this. Okay, all right. So we move on to the last question, which is the 10th question. Okay. So where we've gotten to, we've come so far, we've come a long way. And as we move on, I want to thank all of you for staying up to this time. Thank you so much. And remember to subscribe, and remember to share the channel with your friends to also subscribe. Okay. If you have any friend who wants to still join the bootcamp, it's not too late. The person can also join. Then watch all the tutorial video, practice what we have learned so far. Okay, because at the end of the day, you have to showcase some of all that you've learned on your portfolio. So the practice is very, very important. Doing all the projects we've done so far is also very important. So let's approach the last question, which is the 10th question. So the 10th question is saying that in the first week after a customer joined the program, including their join date, they earn 2 times points on all items, not just sushi. Okay, so the first week a customer joined the program, including being the join date. Okay, the date that they join, they earn 2 points on all items. So it means that all the items, not only sushi. So the question is, how many points do customer A and B have at the end of January? So we need to calculate the total points customer A and B have at the end of January. Okay, so that is what we need to approach right now. That is what we need to solve right now. Okay, and this one is a further challenge. Okay, this one is a further challenge. As I said, as you move on, the questions are becoming tougher and tougher. So this is another further from all that we have approached so far. Okay, so just as what we just did in the question 9, here too we need to look at for some cases. Okay, we need to find some cases, and this time around we are also interested in the customer name or the customer ID, the product name, the price, the order date, and then the join date, because it is asking us for the dates that they joined. It says that customer joined the program then they end a particular point. Okay, so and they end the point based on the order they place. So it means that we have to fetch out the order date, the date they order, the date they join, before we can be able to make the pages. Okay, all right. And then in our database, we can see that the question is saying that how many points do customer A and B have to have at the end of January. And our data is fully focused on 2021. When you go back to our data set, you realize that the data is fully 2021. So for us to get January, it's actually like this. First January, okay, we have to look at for 1st January. At the end of January, since it's at the end of January, it means that will be maybe the date should be less than, okay, the date should be less than 1st day of February, okay, so that you can count all the days in January. Okay, so the dates should be, order dates should be less than the 1st day of February. So it means that will be 1st February 2021. So that is how it's going to look like. Okay, so now let's just go straight and do our select statement. So you want to select, and then let me put all here and select from. Now I want to select from the menu table. So menu as M, then I want to join it to the sales table. Okay, sales as S, and then I want to join it on. Okay, so M dot product ID should be equal to S dot product ID. Okay, so this is what I have, but because I'm looking at a member, I'm looking at the members table as well, because here the restriction is for customer A and B, and those, for me to know the members, they are on the, what do you call it, members table. Okay, so because I'm looking out for that, I also have to go and join. I'll create another join statement where I'll join the members table. So I want to alias it at MB, then I want to join it on the S dot, okay, so S dot customer, so customer ID should be equal to MB dot customer ID. So customer ID. Okay, so this should work for me. Okay, this should work for me. So let me just run this and then see. It should display a full table for good. Right now it has displayed the whole 3 tables joined together, but I'm interested in these ones. Yeah, I'm interested in the customer, S dot customer ID. So let me select the customer ID. I'm also interested in the product name. Okay, so I have M dot product. So product name. The next thing I'm interested in, I'm also interested in the price, because I have to do my calculations and I need the price to do the calculations. So M dot price, and then the next thing I'm interested in is in the order date, this one, and then the join date. Okay, so I can just type the order date, comma, join underscore date. Okay, so this should select just a few rows for me. Good. So these are the rows selected for me, and that is good enough. So the next move is now to do my calculations. Okay, I have to do my calculations, but because it says that how many points do customers A and B have at the end of January, it means that still whatever calculation I do is restricted to that particular date. So without even doing my calculation, let me just restrict my date. Okay, so I'll use the where statement, and then I'll say that where the order date, okay, the order date is located on the, but I can, this one, let me just pick this order date straight away. So order date, so I said the order date should be less than, okay, it should be less than first day of February, okay, and first day of February 2021. So I'll open my quote and I'll say 2021 and hyphen 02, the month, which is February, hyphen the first day, which is 1, and then I'll close it. So this is what I'm selecting. So let me run this, and then let's see the date, what will appear. Good. So now we have the date. So you can now see that we are saying that what we are saying over here is that our order date should be less than this date. So when we look at the order date over here, the order date over here, it's less than, you can see we have 2021, that is February, okay, sorry, January, okay, January, and none of the other dates that we have over here is in February, okay, all of them are January, showing that they are less than January, February, okay, showing that all these dates are less than February, because you can see that all the dates over here are all January. There is no February date over here. Good. So that is good for us. Okay, that is really good for us. That is what, because it says that how many points do customer A and B have at the end of January. Okay, so the time they join up till the end of January. So that is, we are only looking at those points. Good. So now let's now come to the calculations where we can now locate and find the points. Okay, and just as the way we did in the question 9, okay, we are going to do the same thing over here. We want to do another case. Okay, we want to calculate another case over here. So we are going to use the case to do our calculation. So right at the end of my first select clause, I'll put comma there and I'll come down. So I'll open my case. I'll write case, and then I want to do it this way. You can write it on the same line, but it's to still run. But I just want the to be readable. I want it to be readable. That is why that. So the first case is when. Okay, now when the order date, because it says that in the first week after a customer joined the program, including their join date. So the first case is talking about date. Okay, it's talking about the order date. It's talking about the order date and then the join date. Okay, so the date they order and then the date they join. So what I would do is that I would say that, okay, when the order date is between the join date and then giving a particular date, because over here too it makes something, it says that first week, and a week is made up of only 7 days. Okay, so let me just write it and then let's see. So I'll say order s dot order order date. Okay, so I'll use the word, the between keyword, between, and then the join date is on the member table, which are the alias as MB. So I'll say MB dot join date. Okay, join date, and I'll use the end because the between always work with this. So the date is between this date and 7 days. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is that I'm saying that, okay, when the order date is between the join date plus the 1 week, that is the 7 days, and the 1 week, I'll use the function in SQL called date add. Okay, date add. So what I'm saying is that, okay, this join date add a particular date to it. Add a particular date, okay, and count it. So if I want to add 3 days to a particular date, so I'll say that, oh, okay, this particular join date, what I'm saying is that add this date to it. So I'll use the function in the date, then underscore add, okay. So this, it has already shown, but because I want to write all of them in caps, I'll just type it, and then I'll open my parentheses. And inside the parentheses, what I want to specify is that I want to specify that, okay, this is what I want to do. This join date, okay, this join date, I'll put it there, and then it's like I'll say this particular join date, add 7 days to it. So, comma, and then what interval? I'll put the, it takes an argument, another argument called interval. So I will say interval, okay. Okay, so the interval, and what interval, what should be the interval from this date to when? Okay, what should be the interval that you should add to it? It's like the add date function is like the sum, it's just like the sum, but then now we are now adding date functions. It's like a particular date, and then you add number of days to it. So what should be the interval? The interval should be 7 days. So I'll type my 7, and then I'll say days. Okay, so 7 days. So add 7 days to it. So once that is how I want to read. So when the order date is between this day and then additional 7 days, then I will say that, then I'll continue my case. Then do this calculation for me. Okay. Then the first calculation, it says that they earn 2 points on all items. Okay, they will earn 2 points on all items. Now we know it's in the first week after a customer joined the program, including their join date, they earn 2 points on all items, not just only sushi. How many points do customers have? Okay, now we know it's a build up from this area. We know that every $1 spent is equal to 10 points. Okay, every $1 spent is equal to 10 points. And here too is now telling us that when they join, okay, when the first week that they join, they earn 2 points on all orders. Okay, so it's like, and there is also additional 2 points after joining. So this particular, within this 1 week, the first week that they join, they earned 2 points. Okay, so it means that the price m dot price will be times 10 times 2. Okay, so this is what I'm doing. So this is what the 2 points is for the week that they join. That is the point that they earn after they join. Then I'll continue my case. Okay, I'll continue my case. So I'll say that then when, so that is the first case. Then when, now I will now look for the sushi. Okay, I'll now look for the sushi. It says that they earn 2 points. So it's like everybody earned 2 points. Okay, but we also know that the sushi also earned additional 2 points. So do you now see? From here, we know that the sushi earned additional, it has a 2 times point multiplier. So because it has 2 times multiplier, those 2 points would now be multiplied by the total result for the sushi. So here, when m dot product name, okay, so product underscore name is equal to, then I open my sushi, okay, sushi, then m dot price, okay, m dot price should be times 10 times the multiplier. Okay, times the multiplier. So that is what we have for the sushi as well. Then I'll now come else, then else the original one, m dot price times 10. Okay, So that is the normal point outside the first week. The normal point outside the first week. So first of all, it will do the multiplication for the first week, and then when it's done, then the normal point multiplication begins. Okay, so after the first week, then the rest, it now become normal, because it's only the first week that they are multiplying. They have a 2 points. Okay, it's only the first week that they are having 2 times points. So after the first week, the 2 times points will not work again. Okay, after the first week, the 2 times points as a bonus will not work again. So now return to the normal point for me. Okay, all right. So, and I'll now come and end. Once I'm done with that, I'll end it. And I want to alias it. I want to alias it as also points. Okay, I just want to alias it as points. Okay, all right. So once that I'm done with this, let me run the whole of this, and let's see what we get. Good. So once we run this, you can see the points are moving forward. So you can see that the sushi is maintaining the point as first now. Okay, but instead of this one, instead of some others that are supposed to, they are points. Look at this one, the carry. Over here, it's having 300, but here it's having, what do you call it, 150. The reason is that this one is located inside the first week, and this one is located outside the first week. So that is how the thing are, because they are all 15-15. So that is how the computation is being done. All right. Now we are not done. The question is that how many points do customer A and B, okay, customer A and B have at the end of January? So we now have to find way that we can get only the points for customer A and B. We have to sum up their points as well. Okay, so just as the way we sum up the points over here for all of them, then we have to find ways to do the same thing. But in this case, we are looking for the points for only customer A and B. That is what we are interested in over here. So here I'll create a CT. Okay, I'll create a new CT. So I'll come to the top here, and then I'll create a CT. So let me call this CT. Let's say width. Okay, so let me call this CT as point end. So points end. So I have point end as, okay, the open the bracket, and then I'll close it. So I'll close this my CT. Okay, so I'll close this CT, and then I'll now come and write my select statement. So select, what do I want to see? I want to see only the customer name, and then the points, the sum of the points. Those are the only thing I want to return, because it says that how many points do customer A and B have. So it means that I want to return for only customer A and B. So I will say select customer ID, comma, and then I'll use the aggregate function sum, and I'll sum up the points. Okay, so points, so as, okay, so here I want to rename the column to be as total points. So total points end. Total points end. So from where do I want to select from? The point end table. That is the ET that I'm creating, like this. So I want to select from this, but I'm not done. So I'm looking out for only customer A and B, because that is what the question says, customer A and B. I'm looking for only these two people, customer A and B. So because I'm looking for only these two, I'll say where, I'll use the where statement. And here, where customer, okay, so customer ID, customer underscore ID, in customer underscore ID, and then in the parentheses, I'll have the first one, A, because that's the customer name, and then comma, and then the second one too is A and B, so B. So close this one too, and then I'm done. So I'm saying that where the customer ID is in A and B, is these two, then I'll group by. Always remember, anytime you use the aggregate function, sum, counts, you have to average and stuff, you have to remember to use the group by. So you have group by here, customer ID. Let me group by the customer ID. So customer ID, and then this should help us going. Okay, so what this will do is that it should, when it comes to the point, it should sum up the point for, when it comes to customer A, it should sum up all these points for customer B. Okay, it should sum up all these for customer B. And when it comes to customer A, it should sum up all these as well. Okay, it should sum up all of them. Now we can clearly see, even from the result, before we run it, that there were only customer A and B, the customer C was not part of it. The reason being that because the member table doesn't have that particular customer. On the member table, customer C is not a member. So once we do that, it's enough for us to do that calculation. So this particular function, this thing will not even have any effect. Okay, but I just put it there, should, in case that the table should change, where customer C will now decide to become a member, then you would need this particular function to be able to filter customer C out. Okay, so should in the future customer C decided to become a member, this function will help us filter to answer this question, because the question is particularly interested in only customer A and B. Okay, customer A and B. So if we decide to add, or we remove this particular statement, currently we will get the answer correct. But in the future, should customer C decide to join and become a member, this query will be wrong. It won't give us the correct answer to this particular question. So that is one thing we should note. So because now customer A and B are the only members, this particular function doesn't hold anything. It's not doing anything. It won't do anything because already customer A and B are the only members that we know. But should customer C decide to join in the future, this function or this particular statement would help us answer the question correctly. So that is just that. So it can be here, you can decide to comment it, or you can decide to leave it there. It's still the same thing. So let's just run the whole query that we have for question 10. All right. So this is the end of the case study, all the questions that we have answered. And this report would help Danny understand what he's looking for, some of the things that they want to understand. And this project can be added to your portfolio. Okay, this can be added to your portfolio where you can use it to answer any question, or you can display it on your portfolio. All right. Now, as a bonus, by the time we end the bootcamp, as a bonus, we would learn how to develop a portfolio and host it online, where we can display all the projects that you've done so far throughout the bootcamp. We are going to showcase all the projects that we have done. So remember to continue following to the end, and don't forget to share with your friends and subscribe to the channel. It's very important. Subscribe to the channel. Support me by subscribing to the channel and sharing with your friends and families to also subscribe to the channel. Okay. So this will bring us to the end of today's end-to-end SQL portfolio projects. I hope you enjoyed this lecture today, or you enjoyed this tutorial. Remember, if you have anything, remember to drop in the comment section, like the video, and share with your friends. Should you not understand anything, just reach out to me in the comment section or on the WhatsApp page. I'll be glad to answer and help you out. All right. Now, before I move on, the case studies, there are other case studies as well. Okay, so we have another case studies below. Okay, we have a case study 2, the second case study. Okay, you can practice it. Okay, the case study 2 also have interesting things that you can look out for. So once you click on it, okay, you will see the case study also, the questions that are involved for you to address. Okay, so that is it. I'll also leave the link to all these case studies in the comment section. I'll try to leave the link to the case study in the comment section. So if you want to practice any of them, you can practice. And if you have any difficulties, you can reach out to me, and then I'll be glad to help you. All right. So enjoy your evening. And have a wonderful day. Once again, remember to subscribe to the channel, share with your friends, and let everyone also enjoy. Bye-bye.